Herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians. We study reptiles and amphibians together, but they are actually very different organisms. Some examples of amphibians are frogs, toads, salamanders, and newts. Some examples of reptiles are lizards, turtles, snakes, and alligators. First, let's look at amphibians. They are characterized by their moist skin and the fact that they do not have claws. These animals lay their eggs in the water, and their young do not resemble the adult. Let's take a look at some you might find in your backyard. Here's a very typical amphibian. This is a green tree frog. And green tree frogs, as well as all amphibians, go through metamorphosis. Now, when they're young, a green tree frog actually looks a little something like this. This is a tadpole. Now, if we look really close, we can see all of those typical amphibian characteristics. He has very smooth, wet skin. It's actually plasticky to the touch. He doesn't have any claws on his feet. Green tree frogs are extra cool because they have suction cups on their feet, so he can climb up and down things without falling off. This is a spotted salamander. They are very common throughout the Piedmont of Georgia. You can see that nice, moist, slick skin, and there's no claws on those feet. And just like most amphibians, salamanders love to eat insects. Now let's talk about reptiles. They are characterized by the scales or scutes that cover their skin and the claws on their feet. These guys lay their eggs on land, and their young do resemble the adult. Now let's meet some reptiles you'll find in your backyard. These are actually yellow-bellied turtles, and they get their name from their yellow belly. And you can see this guy's always happy. Now if we take a nice close look, you'll notice that they don't really have smooth, slick skin like the amphibians do. Their skin is covered in scutes, which are in large scales. And the scutes also cover their shell. And we can also see that they have claws on their feet, unlike the amphibians. Here we have an alligator. Now if we take a closer look, we can see how their skin is covered in scutes, which are just in large scales. And they also have claws on their feet. And this is a pretty young alligator, only about 2 years old. So again, we can see that young reptiles resemble their parents. This is actually a corn snake. And he's a gray phase of a corn snake. They come in lots of different colors. Now, snakes are covered in scales, right? They use the scutes on their belly to help them move along. Now that you've met some of the more common reptiles and amphibians that you can find in your backyard, I hope you can see how really different these two groups of organisms are.